uses pen.
Okay, sixth graders, listen up here. We're starting chapter 9. Chapter 9 is about what?
Integers!
Integers, yeah. Integers. What are integers, Ariana? They are negative whole numbers and positive whole numbers, right? Negative and positive whole numbers. What's a negative number? What does it mean? How are negative numbers used in the world? Daria? Okay. If you're in debt, then you have a negative amount of money, right? Yep. Very good. Temperature can be expressed in negatives, right? If it's below 0, well, it is a negative temperature. How else are negative numbers used? Yeah. In football? Well, how?
If quarterbacks get sacked, that's a negative yard.
Yeah, they got a negative play, or a negative, they lost yards on that play. That's a negative amount being added. Okay? So, those are all examples of how negative numbers are used. Now, anytime it's a negative whole number, it's called an what?
Positive.
A negative whole number is called an integer.
Wait, how is this?
All positive and negative whole numbers are integers. So the number 5 is an what?
Positive.
A positive
Number.
positive
Integer.
It's a positive integer. Repeat that. Positive integer. Yep. Negative 5 is a
Negative integer.
right. Yep. What about negative 5.5? Is
Negative
5.5 is 5.5 an integer?
No.
Correct. It's a half of something. It's not a whole number, right? Negative 3/4 is not an integer. All right? Fractions that do not equal whole numbers, this is not an integer. All right? This is less than 1. Okay? But what about this? Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Listen. Is this an integer?
No. Wait, yes.
Minus 2. Get focused. Is this an integer?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
What does it equal? Not 5. No. This equals what? No.
I mean, 26.
It equals 6. 30 divided by 5 is
Okay, so that's
6. So if the fraction equals a whole number, then it's an integer. Okay? Now let's talk about the next concept. The next concept is this concept called absolute value. Absolute value. Anything inside of these bars is talking about the number's absolute value. Okay? Absolute value is the number of spaces that whatever is inside of these bars, however many spaces that number is from 0 is its absolute value. So, how many spaces is this number from 0?
5.
Raise your hands. Carson? 5 spaces. Yep. So, say this with me. The absolute value of 5 is 5. How many spaces is this number from 0?
5.
That's also 5, isn't it? So the absolute value of negative 5 is also 5. What do these numbers have in common?
They're both 5.
They're both 5. They're both, describe them, how else
Have
can
the
you describe
integer
them?
of 5.
They're both what?
They both have an integer of 5.
They're both 5s, but what else? This one isn't negative 5. Why not? Isn't this the value of this number is negative 5? Why isn't this? Carson?
Five spaces away from zero.
Right, they're both a positive amount. Yep. They're both positive. A distance is always expressed as a positive amount. This is 5 spaces, and this is 5 spaces. Okay? So the absolute value of a number is always expressed as a positive amount. Okay? Now, let's go to your worksheet. There's another concept that we need to talk about. And that word is opposites. Okay? We need to add this to our page. All right? Another term that we need to talk about is opposites. Okay. Opposites are numbers that are on the opposite side of 0. Okay? Opposites refer to the opposite side of 0 on the number line. Okay? So, in the first one, they give you a number, -10. What is the opposite of -10? It's +10. It's the same number that's on the opposite side of 0. So these two are called opposites. Okay? Opposites are also the same distance from 0, but on the other side. So what's the opposite of +10? Right. Opposite of +10 is -10. Okay? How about the opposite of +3, number 2? They put a little plus sign and then the 3. What's the opposite of it? -3. 3 and -3 are opposites. Okay? Alex?
So then for the 7, are we, if it's -10, then we grade +10?
Right, because they are what?
And one more thing.
They're what?
Opposites.
Because they're opposites.
And another-
Positive and negative are opposites.
Anything.
Yes.
Someone had an air pollution, and it's not fair if they don't pay what Carson does. So.
Okay, Max?
Oh, for
That's
the,
not a question.
like, for when you put, do you have to put the plus, like, plus 10, or do you just put 10?
No, you just put 10, all right? Later on, you're not going to see the little plus sign if it's positive. You'll just see it a regular number, okay? This number is positive because it doesn't have a negative sign, okay? So you can just write the number if it's positive, but write the negative sign if it's negative. That's a good question. Go to the back side. Go to the other side, PW57. You're going to have to do this side also. And look at number 16. In talking about values of numbers, when talking about values of numbers, everybody listen. The farther a number is to the left of 0, the less it is. The less its value. Okay? So, -10 is more or less than -5? -10 is what compared to -5? Is it greater than or less than?
No,
It'd be less than. Okay? We'd point it to the left because -10 is worth less than -5. Even though the integer number or the absolute value is bigger, the value of the number is less. Think about temperature. Which one is colder? -10 is colder, right? So when you're thinking about the value of a number, think about it in terms of money value or temperature, and that'll help you to figure out whether it's less than or greater than. All right? Since this is colder, it is less than -5. Okay? Alex?
What would, for number 19, it had like lines around it, the lines on the side of the -7 and the +7, what did those mean?
Yeah, we're going to get to that next. Okay? I'm going to get to that one next. Now, let's do number 16. Which one is less? Ariana? 21 is less. 24 is less than 21. Okay? So it points to the left. Pointing to the left means less. Pointing to the right means what? Greater than. Yeah. What about number 19? What do these bars mean again? Ariana? Spaces, right. Spaces. Whoops. So, how many spaces is this?
7.
7. How many spaces is this?
7.
7. So they are what?
Equal.
Equal. The absolute value of -7 is equal to the absolute value of 7. Whenever you see these bars, 6th graders, you say this. The absolute value.
Absolute value.
And then say whatever number is inside.
So it'd be,
The absolute.
The
how close
absolute
it is
value
to
of
7.
7 is equal to the absolute value of
Okay, so
absolute value of -7, I should say. Okay? Say the absolute value of, and then whatever comes next. Okay? How about number 21 then? How about number 21? This one has this. So how would you read this? Max?
It would be.
How would you read it first? What would you say? The
The absolute value
equals 2.
Yeah.
And how does that compare to 0? See that? Since we're talking about 2 spaces, that's greater than 0. Okay? This has a value of +2 because it's talking about the spaces. It's the absolute value of that number. And that's more than 0. Okay? Number 20. The absolute value of 4 or 5. Which one is more? 5 is greater. 5 is greater. So 4 is less than. Yep. Any questions on these? We talked about what integers are, opposites, and absolute value. Okay? Finish this worksheet for Monday.
Okay.